Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Women Winning Wednesdays. I'm your host, attorney Elsa W. Smith, a Maryland and District of Columbia estate planning attorney, owner of the law offices of Elsa W. Smith, where our mission is to empower women through estate planning. I have another amazing guest for you today, and today we're going to talk about branding. Now we're going to discuss what branding is and why it matters. But one of the things that you're going to learn is that we are creating our brand every day with every action, every relationship, every decision that we make is contributing to our brand. And believe it or not, when you decide to create your estate plan, that is a way of establishing a brand even within your family. So just chew on that. Think about that. Today, we are going to be chatting with Glynis Jones, and I'd like to tell you a bit about her. Glynis Jones is a brand strategist with over 15 years of experience in project management, strategic communications, branding, and marketing. She's hung out in the creative agency world as an account executive and then transitioned to managing marketing efforts and various federal communication initiatives in the corporate world for the last 7 years. She's been on an entrepreneurial journey and she's working to build her own personal brand. Currently, she's the managing partner of Because Marketing, which was created from a passion and a desire to help fill the gap of marketing and communications capacity for organizations dedicated to strengthening the health and welfare of our communities. Glynis is dedicated to working with women who have a desire to make their mark in the world. Through personal brand consulting, Glynis has partnered with women from different walks of life to help them bring their ideas to fruition. She can sense when someone has had something brewing for a long time, or maybe they just had an epiphany. Wherever the seed was planted, Glynis helps facilitate the process to water, nurture, and feed it until it is full grown. And with that, please help me in welcoming Glynis Jones. Hi, Glynis. How are you?
Hi, Elsa. How are you?
I'm fabulous. It is wonderful to have you. Wonderful to have you on the show, and thank you for being so gracious with your time. Um, we are going. I'm excited to talk about branding because a lot of people don't understand what it is.
Mhm.
So, before you do that, tell us about your business as a branding expert and what is a branding expert.
Sure. So first and foremost, thank you so much for having me on Women Winning Wednesday. As you were just talking about my passion for working with women, so I was just super excited to be able to talk with you and connect with you and all of the women out there that are listening. So let's see. My work as a branding expert. Expert, that word, huh? But as you mentioned, I've been in this brand development, strategic communication, and project management space for over 15 years, and so a lot of my work has just been in marketing, communications, and I had started working with individuals, kind of helping them with design, marketing, figuring out how they maybe wanted to promote their business. But what I found was that we needed to just stop and take a step back, right? We really needed to think about, why are we doing this? What is it that we're trying to convey? Who is it that we're trying to connect with? Automatically, sometimes we want to jump into, oh, we need a purple logo, or we want these green stripes, so we need to have this website presence. But we really need to take a step back and think about the brand as a whole, right? And branding is not just what it looks like. Branding is what resonates with your audience? What do they think and feel when they connect with you? I always tell folks, like I do a session and I say, what is your favorite brand? What is it, that you love most? And I tell folks, I love Target because I feel like Target just solves all my life's issues. I can, I can get a loaf of bread. I can get socks for the boys. I can get that latest book that I was looking for, So what is it about that brand that resonates with you? And that is, and that's how I really got into personal branding because, when you think about, just how when we connect with people, what do they think and feel when they connect with you? How do you make them feel? And then how do we then convey that through our brand elements? Then you convey that through your logo. Then you convey that through the website. So that is in a nutshell kind of what I do as it relates to branding. And I do that for individuals, but also in my business, I do that with organizations as well. So.
Glynis, tell us why it's important to really understand your purpose.
Purpose. It's really important for us to understand our purpose. First of all, I just want to remind you and your listeners that we were all created for a reason, right? God has blessed us all with skills, talents, treasures, time, all of it for us to use it for a particular purpose, right? And sometimes we need to do the inner work a little bit, like think a little bit about, why am I here? What is my purpose? And I shared this little story about my father. When I was growing up, I was really shy. I wore glasses, and you can usually see me hanging on my mom's skirt tail. I was just really shy, and my father he pushed me a little bit. Actually, he pushed me a lot, and even at a young age. And he was a pastor, so he told me one time. He said, "Glynis, you're going to sing a song with me on Sunday morning." I was like, "I'm not singing." Of course, I didn't say that. I was 6 years old. I didn't say that. I sung the song, and I did an amazing job at it, if I may say so myself. But and then he said, "Well, Glynis, you're going to try out for Little League." I said, "I don't want to do that." But he pushed me. I tried out and I made the team. And I can think of different instances where my father pushed me. He just pushed me because he saw that there was something in me. He saw that I had purpose. And I think what he was just trying to do is like, Glynis, you need to step outside of your comfort zone. You need to step outside of your box and realize that there's work for us to do, Elsa, just like what you're doing here with this Women Winning Wednesday. Like there's things for us to do. And all that personal branding is that we're putting that purpose into action. We're operationalizing our purpose. We're packaging it in a way that others can engage with that, right? So for me, personal branding starts with purpose, right? That is a cornerstone of personal branding for me.
So from there, like once we understand our purpose, our why, well, I was going to ask you another question first, but this stuff tells a lot better. What is your purpose? What is your why?
I would say my why is really just how I can be a blessing to others, right? How I can use, as I mentioned earlier, my time, my talents, my treasures to pour into others. And that may be my family, that may be others in my community, others that I interact with. But that is my why, like how I can use what God has blessed me with to then bless you, to pour into you, to support you. And I do a lot of that with my family. I pour a lot into my family, who I love so dearly. But that's my why. How can I help you? How can I be a blessing to you? How can I support you? How can I serve you? So.
And that really is at the end of the day, all the professional development, like marketing gurus, they try to get us as professionals, as business owners, to make that mental shift from selling to how can we serve and to be of service.
Yeah, that's right.
Put yourself in the needs of your prospective client and really focus in on what their needs are. And then tailor your message and your mission to best, get them, to remove the pain if that's what it is, or create their brand. as what you do. Talk to us now about a digital presence. What do we mean when we talk about digital presence?
So we're really just talking about how you are showing up online. Do you have a digital home, your virtual storefront? How are you showing up? If you have a website, your social media channels, opportunities like this is going to show up online. This is going to be part of my digital presence, right? What's one of the first things we do when we're looking for something, where we're thinking about a person? What is that, or who is that person, or what's the latest? The first thing we do is what?
We search on social media, we search online, we Google. Exactly.
We Google, right? Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So, so that's one of the things that when I'm talking to my clients, I talk about, when you Google yourself, what do you see? What shows up?
Ooh, yeah, that's very telling. I've done that a number of times. Yeah.
What shows up, and if what shows up is not what you want to show up, then you have some work to do, right? I won't get into all of the nitty gritty about SEO and all of that, but having a digital presence is important, especially in this day and time. It's just critical if we're working to build our personal brands. Some people like to stay off the grid, like to stay off the radar. I understand that. But if you're working to build your personal brand, if you're working to have a presence, if you're working for folks to know who you are, having a digital presence is definitely important.
Glynis, now I'm going to do what I always do in these interviews, because I not only want to showcase you as the expert that you are, but I also am showcasing you as a woman, as a professional woman with challenges and burdens and all that. So if you could share, particularly with the women who are listening, what were some of the challenges that you faced, both personally and professionally, on the road to the success that you enjoy now?
Sure. So it actually connects back to the story that I was sharing earlier about my father, and just me being so shy and hiding behind my glasses. And you can take that however you want, but I was hiding for a long time. And it took a lot for me to just build up my confidence and know that, I had something to offer, that I could be seen, that I could be heard. So, I would say early on in my career, it was a lot of that. It was just me being confident in my ability, confident in what I had to share, confident in my expertise. I won't say that word that we always say, but I'll say it: imposter syndrome, right?
I knew we were going to go there.
We always talk about that, right? We always say that. But it was a lot of that in the beginning, but I still continue to work on that, because, you just have to know what you've been blessed with, know what God has put inside of you, and what you have to share with others. Also, I think the other challenge for me is being a working mom, and that we always say, that work-life balance, right? And for me, it's just a matter of prioritizing, right? I had to, my family always comes first. And I'm so blessed to have a husband that understands all of my many dreams and all of my many things that I have on my plate that I want to accomplish. And I'm able to balance that work along with my family. But, sometimes it can be challenging, because sometimes you have to sacrifice. Sometimes either maybe I can't take that client meeting because I have a baseball game to get to, or maybe I have to tag team with my husband because I really have to attend this conference. So I think that is a challenge. I think it will be an ongoing challenge, but I know that some of your viewers can probably understand that a little bit. And then there's just the sometimes the challenge of being a woman in this space and in corporate world, right? And dare I say it, being a Black woman in this space, right?
Come on.
That's another session, Elsa. That's another.
I know. That part 2 of the interview, right?
But that it all comes with its challenges, its barriers, and I've definitely been on lately, just on this self-care kick, not even just as a buzzword, but really just taking care of ourselves. And sometimes I have to do that. Have to take a step back and realize, I just have to think about, taking care of myself, my mental health, my physical health, because just doing so much. So I think those are some of the major kind of challenges and roadblocks that I've had. And I'm continue to be a work in progress every day. So
As we are all, and I just want to thank you for being so transparent. That's we learn from each other. We're constantly growing and developing, and I believe that we need to be open to listening to the experiences of other women, and that's how we help each other. So thank you so much for that. Tell us, bringing this back to branding, what is your brand voice? What does that mean?
what does that mean? So your brand voice is really the tone of your brand, right? What is it? Um, Earlier I was talking about, branding is about how people, what they think and feel when they connect with you, what resonates with them. And so what is the tone of that? Is it authoritative? Is it inspirational? Maybe it's educational. Maybe it's just fun and funky, right? What is the brand, the tone of your brand? And then ultimately, when you identify what your brand voice is, that has to be consistently conveyed across all of your brand's elements in your messaging, conveyed through the look and feel of your imagery. It has to come across consistently. That's how we create a consistent brand. I would say that my brand is inspirational, motivational. I try to be fun with it. I like to have a good time. But those are the things, when you come in contact, when you connect with Glynis, she's going to in some way try to say something inspirational. She's going to try to motivate you in some way, and then also try to be educational in what I'm sharing. So think about what it is what is the tone of it, of your voice. And also go back to the example that I was saying earlier. What are some of the brands that you connect with, that you resonate with? What is it about those brands? What is the tone of those brands that really connects with you? So that's one thing to think about. The tone of your brand, that is ultimately the brand voice, and how you consistently convey that in all of your branding efforts.
And listening to you, Glynis, I'm hearing that we need to be self-aware. How are we showing up in the world, right? And you talk about the importance of being consistent, in all platforms. But it's also, I mean, if we take it down to a very personal level, consistency in how we walk in the world, how we show up.
That's right.
Are you, if you consider yourself to be a person of integrity, does that carry, from family to business to organizational, memberships that you have? Are you consistent in that? Would you agree?
That's right. That's right. And I'll let you in on a little secret, and the viewers. You have a personal brand, whether you know it or not, right? What are folks saying about you when you leave out the room?
Ooh.
That's part of your personal brand. So definitely, Elsa, like just how you show up, because people are watching you. I had an opportunity to train some interns over the summer, in a program, and I did a personal branding session, and I talked with them about it. And the young lady, when she was one of the young ladies, when she wrapped up the program, um, she came past my office and gave me a note, and she was just like, "Thank you." So I read the note, and she basically said in the note was that, I really love the way you carry yourself. I appreciate you just pouring into me and talking to me about personal branding, because I didn't know what that meant. But basically saying that she was watching me in so many words. She had been watching me ever since I did that session. She had been watching me and looking at me, and that really hit home. Is that, I don't know if we really think that folks are watching us, our every move, and if we're consistent with our brand, they're seeing a good show, right? They are seeing what it is that we want them to see, because we are carrying ourselves in the way that we want our brand to be conveyed. And I don't say, and I want to take back the word show. I want to take back the word show, because one of the things that I really make a point of saying is that I like to take the superficial ideas of personal branding out of it. Like it's not a show. It's not what we want people to think. It really is who we are. That is what you convey through your personal brand. Who are you at your core, right? That is what you need to convey, and how you package it and how you present it to others. That's when we get into the fun and all of that. But that is what personal branding is, who you are at your core, nothing more than that. That's why I want to take back the word show, because we don't put on a show. We want to be who we are,
Right.
but you have to consider that folks are watching you every step of the way. They're watching you.
Glynis, how is, that authenticity, because that's the word that's coming to me, walking in the world authentically, being your authentic self.
Yep.
Why is that so important for female executives in particular, or female professionals? This is, broaden that. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Because I think that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, just the challenge of being women in the workplace, and how we show up, right? Because, folks are watching us. Sometimes, they may see us as, oh, females are maybe more emotional, or, you know all of what comes along with that. But we just need to walk and, like you said, be authentic and be ourselves, be our best selves every day. That's all we can do. And I think it's important just for females in the workplace, just because there's always those different connotations that come along with that, right? Like I said, she's sensitive, or dare I say, for some of us sisters, we have an attitude, something.
Oh my.
That's the other session we're doing, Elsa.
I know, we're like building the part 2 as we're speaking.
Put that at the other session. But I encourage all of you to show up as your authentic self. Be your best version of yourself every day, because someone is watching you, and you are empowering somebody just by your presence, just by you being outspoken in those sessions, or in a meeting, or so show up authentically every day. Definitely.
Glynis, because we have not only a number of my clients, but other women who are watching, they're moms, in addition to being like you, they're moms. Why should young people consider their brand? And what advice would you give to parents who are watching?
Okay, so I'll start with the first part of
Sure.
young people. I was actually working with a young lady, a different intern over the summer. I was working with her, and she was helping me with some of my content development, and she was aspiring to be a writer, and also just a rising senior. And so, in addition to me helping her, I also worked with her for her to understand and think about her personal brand. And again, she was like, what is that, and what does that even mean? Mm-hmm. But what I was explaining to her is that, what is it that you want to be known for? This is a pivotal time in your life. You're a rising senior, and this young lady is actually wanting to go off to college, right? Mm-hmm. So what is it that you want to be known for? And think about, what are your core messages? What are your key messages? And how you are going to make sure that that's weaved in through your college essays, or weaved into your scholarship applications, right? Because right now, what you're putting this on paper, but they are seeing who you are. I think she actually had some video submissions as well. But this is a pivotal opportunity for you to start to build your brand and think about what it is that you want to be known for. And at this point, this young lady, she was an athlete. She was, a straight A student. So at this point, she's already starting to build her brand, right? And thinking through that. But I don't think she was really realizing that's what it was. But even if you're a young person, and you're not interested in going off to college, and you're ready just to hit the workforce, you're starting off as a young professional, right? Well, how are you coming? What are you coming to? How are you coming to the table? You have the words on your resume, right? But when you are connecting with, or interviewing, or what have you, what are your core messages? What are your key messages? When that person walks away, what are they thinking? What is resonating with them about the connection that they just had with you? So this is as young folks, it's a pivotal time to be building your personal brand, and connect that back to your digital presence, right? What are you conveying online, young folks, right? Thinking about that, because You know,
Say it loud for the people in the back. Yes, watch what you
I'm
post
just
on
saying,
social media.
I'm just saying, we've seen many of stories where people have pulled up old messages and it has really hindered their reputation or hindered their path, right? So think about that as you're going along as well. What your digital presence is looking like. So I'll shift from the young people, and then we're shifting to what was that? What was the
Great.
parents? Parents.
Parents. Invite tips for parents. That's right. Tips
Parents.
for
Okay.
parents.
So I think that the same thing for parents. Parents, this is since this is a pivotal time for your young folks. Just talking to them about what it is that they want to be known for, right? And how you can support them with that. Um, how can you help build their brain? And I will say another thing for young folks as well. I do a session with undergrads, and I talk to them. One of the things I talk to them about is also your outward appearance, right?
Mm.
What are you wearing when you go out and about? Like, it's a whole package. And I know sometimes people feel like that's a lot. I don't feel like putting all the energy into that, but it's part of your whole brand. And I'm mindful when I go out here and run out to the grocery store, instead of me grabbing the sweatpants with the holes in them, maybe I'll grab the other pair just in case, because I never know who I may encounter when I'm out there, right? It could be a potential client. It could actually be one of the parents from the school, right? Because
Mm.
I'm working, just it's part of the whole package. Again, taking out the superficial. It's not like we have this, don't say I have this image to uphold. It's you, who you are inside, bringing that out, and just being mindful of kind of what that whole package looks like and what you want to be known for. Just think about that, all of those key factors.
Now I want to shift a little bit and really tie in what I do, which is estate planning and, planning, strategizing, all that. Talk to us about how deciding to create your estate plan really is related to branding, like self branding, branding within your family. If you can just comment on that.
Right, right. So I think it goes back about how you choose to show up, right? You
Mhm.
are you're stepping up and doing something that is very important for your family, for the legacy of your family, right?
Right.
As well. So you're being able to create your brand in this space of planning for the future, right? And your family is now looking at you as that person that's you're planning for the future, and others are looking at you as planning for the future. But it is again just a way for you to step up and show up in this space of being able to create a legacy and a plan for your family.
Yeah, and it's especially challenging, I'm sure, when, because it takes a bit of courage to do that when you've seen X for number of generations, to break the mold or to do something
Something
different
different.
always requires a bit of courage,
That's right.
right?
Right. That's right.
Thank you for speaking to that. Now, as we are approaching the top of the hour, I must talk about your book, and I'm going to do a screen share right now. Let's see, and here we go. And there it is. Purpose, passion, and people. That is your book. Tell us about that. Now, obviously, the screen share there shows that you can get it on Amazon. But tell us
Mhm.
about the book, why you created it, and where else we can get it.
Sure. So, Purpose Passion People is a 30-day devotional to help you activate your purpose and build your personal brand. And as I was saying earlier, that personal branding to me is really just operationalizing your purpose and putting it into action. And Elsa, I wrote this book during the pandemic, believe it or
Mm.
not. I myself was looking for a devotional that focused on personal branding because I love devotionals. I love to, take time in the morning to read a devotional and see how I can apply it to my day, to the week, to my life. And so I was looking for a personal branding devotional, and I couldn't find one. And I was like, well, what if I created it?
Hmm.
And during that time in the pandemic, I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I was doing a lot of praying. I was doing a lot of praying and just looking to hear from God in different ways. And this is one of the things that was given to me. So and I created it because I really do believe in true purpose, and I know the power of commitment. You know, when you commit to a devotional daily, when you commit to meditating daily, when you commit to seeing results, right? And that's what I created this devotional to do. Within it, there are three core parts. There's a meditate on this, and that is the core scripture that's in the for that particular passage. And then there's a message for the day. And it is a message that focuses on personal branding, some aspect of personal branding. And
Mhm.
then there's make a move. Then it's an action item for you to do. I'm going to take a step back. There's actually 5 parts in the book, right?
Mhm.
It starts off with prayer, right? We set the tone with prayer. Everything we do,
Yes.
everything I do, I start off with prayer. So prayer starts it off, and then there's purpose, and there's passion, and there's people. And then the last section is personal. How do we make all of this personal? And you know, a lot of times we hear, and I've heard all throughout my life, don't stop taking it personal. Don't take it personal. But let me tell you, when it comes to aspects of your personal brand, you need to take it personal because it's your personal brand.
Absolutely.
So those are the 5 core sections. But um, it really is just thinking about your purpose, your core being, your passion, which is your why, and then the people that you interact with, the people that you are impacting, right? And how those 3 things work together. And right in the middle is your sweet spot. That's your personal brand. Right in the middle. So that's what this devotional is talking about. And even if you're not into scripture, even if you're not a spiritual purpose, I promise you there is a nugget in there for you that you can use to apply to your personal brand journey.
I love it, and I know that there's a chapter, a part in the book where you have I guess a mantra, if you would. It's pray, pivot, and proceed. Tell us about that, if you would, please.
Well, that was actually timely because it was really I wrote it really thinking about the pandemic at the time, right?
Mhm.
Because there was just so much going on. I mean, you know, businesses were being closed, kids were starting to do school virtually. Like there was just so much going on, and it was really just realizing that sometimes we have to take this time to stop, pray
Mhm.
about it, pivot. You're going to have to change and then just move forward.
Mhm.
And the scripture that I use for that is I talk about Joshua and the children of Israel in their journey. So it's really just then you taking the time to realize that, you know, sometimes we have to change. We're going to have to shift some things, but it's okay. It's okay to pivot. But what you need to do most importantly is keep moving forward. You need to proceed. So I talk about that, and I talk about sometimes that happens within our personal brand. Sometimes we're going in a particular direction, and we realize that sometimes we have to make changes, like if it's not working, or the environment, our what's around us is changing. Like we've all had to pivot, working from home.
Yeah.
More conferences were then shifted to be virtual versus in person. So there was a lot of pivoting going on, and I imagine that we will continue to need to pivot. So that is definitely one of my favorite passages in the book.
Well, I love it. I love it. Tell us, you're obviously you're like a branding guru. What are honestly, really, what's your ideal client? Who are the people that first of all, that you would prefer, that are your chosen clients, if you would?
Yeah. So I won't say everyone, because that's one thing I tell my clients is do not
Mhm.
say that your target audience is everyone, because it's not
Right.
everyone. So because you have to hone in on who it is. So I work with career professionals. I love working with women that are in different areas of their career, young professionals, women that have been in their career for 20 plus years, and maybe they're looking to pivot. Maybe they're looking to change, some aspects of their core messaging as they're seeking a different path within their career. I also love working with entrepreneur women. Women that are building their business, starting to build their business, have built their businesses, or two, maybe they're pivoting, maybe they've added a new service. And I know sometimes folks don't like this word, but I work with the side hustlers as well, right? You
Yeah.
have
Give it up for the side hustlers out there.
look, multiple streams of income. That's all I'm saying.
That's right. That's right.
So working with the side hustlers, but I love working specifically with women. I work with the fellas too. Fellas, if you're interested, I'm here. But I specifically do have a passion for women because I believe that we are absolutely amazing, right? I think women, I'm sorry, not just because I am one, but God has definitely built us with some different expertise, characteristics. Like, we are absolutely amazing. And
We
so I
are.
love working with women who have, just have these amazing ideas, or like I said, they're on a path and they want to just take it to the next level. So that is my ideal client. Yes.
I love it. So, as we wrap up, I want to talk about how people can get in contact with you. I have a few ways here on the screen, but if you have a website, what have you, tell us what are the ways that people can reach you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So on Instagram, I'm at g.lynn Jones. I'm also on Facebook at glynn, Lynn Concepts. And you can also visit my website at glynisjones.com. And actually, when you go there, scroll all the way down so that you can sign up to be a part of the tribe and get updates and emails from me as well. And then you can also just drop me a note at hello@glynisjones.com. But I'd love to connect with you. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to talk with you more about the book. And as Elsa mentioned earlier, you can definitely find that on Amazon. Just type in Purpose, Passion, People, and it'll pop right up.
I love it. Glynis, it has really been an honor, a joy, a pleasure to just be in the same room with you, because I love, I really love what I do. I love interviewing women like you who are mission driven. You understand your purpose and you have a heart of service. So that's a wonderful combination. And you're a lovely person on top of that. Yeah. So thank you again for being so gracious with your time. Thank you for being a guest. Everyone, Glynis Jones, I'm going to put her contact information one last time on the screen. Please support her, buy her book. I was graced with a copy, and it's dog-eared, highlighted, and all that good stuff. So get the book, support her on social media if you would. Glynis, have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you in a few minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Elsa. Thank you for having me.
Everyone, Glynis Jones, another phenomenal guest. I do not disappoint when I bring you women of purpose and phenomenal women. I hope that you've learned in this interview that branding is important. Personal branding is important. And like we talked about, if you come from a family where estate planning was not a priority, but you want to take your life in a better, more empowered direction, I want to challenge you to let better be your brand. Let empowered be your brand. We empower clients by creating comprehensive estate plans in Maryland and the District of Columbia every day. And if you are in Maryland or DC and need help with your estate plan, give us a call. The number's at the bottom of the screen. This has been a great episode for a number of reasons, and I hope you took a lot from it. Feel free to share it. It'll be on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Share it with a friend. Share it with someone who needs direction and needs to define and create their brand. I am Elsa W. Smith, your Maryland estate planning attorney, thanking you once again for joining me on this episode of Women Winning Wednesdays. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.